just got done visiting Benjamin, and I'm honestly sad because I can't even imagine like what he's feeling or how he's coping with being there.
In the summer of 2010, one of our friends at the Gandhi Brigade, Benjamin, went missing. After several days of not knowing what had happened to him, we discovered that during a routine traffic stop, Benjamin, a passenger in the vehicle, was forced from the vehicle and interrogated about his immigration status by local police. Without any criminal charge against him, he was transferred to a detention facility nearly 3 hours away from his home. As we tried to help our friend, people in the community began telling us that this was a common occurrence and was the result of a policy between police and the corrections department called Secure Communities. Within 3 weeks, our friend was deported, and we were determined to get to the bottom of this issue.
No secure communities! No secure communities! No secure communities! No secure communities!
El pueblo unido jamás será vencido.
El pueblo unido
Jamás será vencido.
Immigration enforcement has changed quite a bit. We now have programs like Secure Communities and the 287G program, which basically provides the tools or training for local cops to enforce immigration law or to be part of that process of identifying someone who is undocumented.
The fact that they call it secure communities, I find that ironic because they're saying they're trying to secure your community by taking these people out. At the same time, most of these people are not criminals, they're just average people.
What happens in secure communities is that a person is arrested. When they are taken into custody, their fingerprints are matched against an FBI database and an immigration database. Now, ICE will put a detainer on a person if there's a match, and they will have up to 48 hours to pick up that person from the local jurisdiction that they are arrested from. Now, the government says that it wants to prioritize who's being detained. They say they want level 1 offenders, but more so, according to the data that they have released, more of those individuals are level 3 offenders or individuals who are not criminals.
Maria Bolaños, she was put into deportation proceedings after calling police for help in Prince George's County. Maria?
My name is Maria Bolaños, and I am here because the local police turned me into immigration. I have a deportation order against me, and I also have a daughter who is 21 months old, and I don't want to be separated from her. I am not a criminal, and I am asking immigration to cease my deportation proceedings.
Por eso le pido a inmigración que no me deporte. Quería que si piensa en un momento llamar a la policía.
And you know, I would tell people, if you're seeking help from the police, think twice. If I had known that when I made that call to the police for help, that in place of helping me, they would try to incriminate me, I would have never called.
Nunca lo hubiera hecho. No estuviera hoy en día en este problema.
In fact, I would tell others, don't call the police.
A lot of immigrants' rights organizations were making against secure communities that it's a program that is going to create more problems in reporting crime, that it's going to further isolate and victimize vulnerable people in the community, being women, children, youth.
The police are now looking after those people versus trying to take care of the entire community.
No podemos cerrarnos los ojos.
As the police, we can't close our eyes. In the moment that we need to enforce the law, it doesn't matter if one person is selling drugs, another is selling beer from their home, or a woman is selling food from her home. You can't say, well, you sell drugs, but you only sell phone cards. As soon as you do something illegal, we have to enforce the law, and we have to do it in a generalized way. You guys need to be clear. We're here to enforce laws, so that's what we do. The story of Ms. Bolaños and the youth demonstrate that most of these people aren't doing anything. Why is it that 77% of the deportations from this county are people who haven't committed any crime? Their charges were all dropped. That signifies that police officials in this county are arresting people without any viable reason. This rate of non-criminal deportation is higher than the state of Arizona and Prince William County, Virginia.
My parents were deported last year. I can remember so vividly a how my father was snatched away right in front of our eyes in August of 2008. That was the last time I saw him. I remembered so vividly how my brother and I were forced to say goodbye to my mother at JFK Airport in July of 2009, and how that was also the last time I saw her.
I came to this country when I was 1.5 years old with my mom and dad from India, and I basically lived in the United States all my life. I grew up here, I went to school here.
What's interesting about the issue of immigration with young people is that the aspect of choice is not always there, but they're still treated as having made this choice to come to the United States.
America is the only country I know, and the government was basically telling me that you're going to have to leave, go back to a country that you've never lived in before. I was supposed to leave the country on August 13th, but then, like, with the help of my lawyer, my family, and my friends, like, they just got so much support from me, and the media. Like, they were able to put my story out there, and I was able to stay in the country with a deferral of removal. And, like, from childhood, I've always dreamt about going to school, graduating from high school in the United States, like, working hard, and I actually did do that. I graduated, and I always dreamt of, like, getting a scholarship, going to a good university, and, like, I did achieve all that, but then, like, because of my status, I couldn't do any of it. I didn't know whether I should keep working hard or not. Like, it's like, why work hard when you're not going to get anything out of it? But then, like, I just kept pushing myself, and I basically did it for God, because I said, if God gave me the talent to be able to do well in school, like, I should use it for Him.
Almost 80% of the individuals that have matched through secure communities are those without any crimes other than being here and undocumented.
In law enforcement, sometimes someone is stopped. A police officer may tell that person, your tail light is out. And that results for a U.S. citizen, that would be a fine or a warning even. But for someone who is here without proper documentation, that can often mean deportation.
Well, if this program is supposed to be nationwide, you know, what are the oversight and what's the transparency?
Part of the problem that we're seeing with this new wave of deportation-focused immigration enforcement is that it's really focusing on separating families.
I mean, who do you go, who's responsible for racial profiling complaints? You know, is it the local department, the local police department that's doing it, or is it the government?
And for me, that thought of just moving back to India was scary. Because at heart, like, I just feel like I'm American.
Mis próximos pasos serían que el primero que no me deportara, estar siempre con mi hijo y salir adelante y luchando.
Igual que si regresaría a su casa, que vería a su hijo crecer y lo educaría.
There were so many things that I wanted to do. I really just wanted to have a normal life with a family and a home. I even wanted to go to university and had planned to enter in the fall. But the craziest part of all of this is just, in one moment you're free, and the next minute you lose everything.